Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Now in this one we're going to look at the grip in more detail. Now in the video I did last week I did a video analysis of the cue action, so we looked at all the things we do to control the cue. In this one we're going to look at more detail from the back view so we can see what the grip hand is doing and some important points to remember when we deliver the cue. As always, if you enjoy these videos, remember to like the videos, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if anyone's interested in any personal one-to-one coaching sessions, feel free to have a look in the description, contact me, and I'd love to help you to improve your game. Okay everyone, so this is a nice follow-on from the video that we did last week where we looked at the cue action from the side. This time we're going to have a look at the cue action from the back. So you can see I've already put the line of aim on the screen here so we can see that nicely. Now when I walk into the shot, you can see that I'm placing my 2 feet. So I'm standing behind the line of the shot here. You'll see professional players do this where they're swiping the cue a bit, just looking at the line of the shot. And you can see I'll place my right foot, then my left foot, and then I'm going down into the shot. Now you can see my cue has got on the line of aim there. It may go off very slightly as I just rotate my shoulders and just get down into the shot. But then you can see as I bring my elbow, the cue has ended up nicely on that line. So this doesn't have to be absolutely millimetre perfect when you're getting down here. But you do want to feel like your cue is pointing in the right direction. So you can see even from this position here, my cue is already starting to get nicely onto the line. So if we then carry on, you can see my cue then is on the line of the shot and I get my tip to the right. So I haven't started any feathers yet at all. We saw that in last week's video when we looked at the video analysis there. Now something important that you can see here is you can see this big arch in my back here. My back is not flat. Now this is important because I've talked about it in other videos where we talk about the shoulder rotation. That's what's helping to get this, make sure this arm is nice and straight. So you can see, can't you, that my arm is nice and straight up in a straight line like this. So we don't want that arm sticking out to one side if we can help it. And this rotation in my shoulders, so where I've got my back not flat, that helps me to get the arm nice and straight and to get this the shoulder rotation like I've talked about in other videos. Now something else that's very important, if we look at my grip hand here, you'll see the distance from my hip. So if we were to look at, this distance here to where my hip is, you can see that I've got a nice amount of space. So here I've got a nice amount of space so that I can move my cue freely and deliver my hand to my chest. Now some players don't move the hips over enough, so my hips I've tried to move over here. You can see on my left leg here I've leaned some weight on this left leg, and that's allowed me to then, as I say, move my hips out the way of the shot over in this direction so that I've freed up some space for my grip hand to move freely here. So then I'm going to now start my feathers. So we can see the feathers happening now. And something that's important to look at here is you can see my fingers relaxing as I do my feathers. So you can see from this position here, if we just rewind when I'm at the cue ball. So you see here, all of my fingers are around the cue. You can't see any space or any daylight. Sometimes what you end up with is, when you look at players, you can see a bit of space around this part here. So we don't want that. We want to have a nice grip where the cue is under control. This hand is the only thing that's going to control the cue. So we need to try and get this part of our cue action right. So we then see, as then I do a backswing, you can see as I do my feathers, and then when I do my backswing here, you can see that the fingers will relax off the cue. So let's just rewind a second there. So as I'm doing feathers, can you see my hand opening and closing? So this movement here where when I bring the cue back, to help the cue stay flat, the fingers are opening up, and then as they go forward, they will close. So the cue just naturally pushes the fingers out of the way so that I've got this nice bit of control. You can see that as I move backwards and forwards. So if I now let this play, so this is in slow motion, so you can see my hand opening up there, look, as I do that feather, and then it's relaxing again. And then I eventually, when I go to play the shot in a second, if we just zoom out a bit, So I've stopped at the white. Now I'm going to start my backswing. So this is my full backswing. So the cue's going to come right the way back. And can you see the fingers opening up even more? So you can now see that the hand has really opened up and relaxed. So if we just go back a little second there. So you can see that the hand has opened up and relaxed. And you can also see things that are very important here. My wrist here is not rotating as you don't want this kind of movement going on. So as the backswing happens, the wrist is just staying neutral. So you can see that the hand is opening up. You don't want the cue, as I say, twisting and the hand rotating round. So you can see that backswing has fully happened, and then let's play the shot. So you can then see a little wait. So this is in slow motion, but I'm letting the clip play, and then the cue goes through, and you can hear that I've hit that shot there, and you can hear the ball going into the pocket. But you could see there that, so this is where the hand is at the end of the backswing, and then as you go through the shot, you can see my grip remaining relaxed. So you can see my hand has gone right through to the chest. So there, like that. This is what I always talk about. So you can see this part here, my hand is right through to the chest. And then you can actually see that as I hit the chest, because my grip is nice and relaxed, can you see that you can just look, if you look around here, just a bit of daylight appearing in my grip because my grip is nice and relaxed. So can you see that just as my hand is hitting my chest as I go backwards and forwards? Now, you haven't got to get your grip as relaxed as mine. I'm always saying that to players. My grip is relaxed. I like to keep it nice and loose. You absolutely have not got to copy exactly what I'm doing with technique. Everyone's got a slight difference in technique. So you don't need to copy exactly what one player is doing. But what is important is this. You can see that my cue, so if we just go back to where the feather is. So it's on the line of the shot. As it comes back, it's staying almost on that line of the shot, even with a full backswing. It's only moved very, very fractionally, of course. We're zoomed right in here, of course. So it's only moved that tiny amount. And then when I deliver, so let's play that again and let that just go through. You'll see that the hand goes through, and then the hand just naturally closes around the cue, no tension. And it's only after the shot and my elbow drops. So the cue ball has long been hit here, so you can still see here the cue is on the line of the shot, and it's only long after the shot that then my hand just bounces and the cue ends up slightly to the side. So some important things there, and this is what you're really trying to get right when you're doing your grip. Keeping it relaxed. You can put a bit of extra pressure on the grip hand, but when we talk about the hand closing like this, what we don't mean is we do not mean squeezing. So at this point here, there's no squeezing, hard squeezing of the cue. You can put a bit more pressure there, but it's just really the hand going from being open like that to just naturally closing back around the cue like that. So those are the really important things to think about when you're trying to do your grip. So if we just clear all those lines now, and let's just have a look at the grip. So like I say, if we go back to where just before the backswing starts, like I say, we don't want to feel like the wrist is turning as you go round. So you see the hand opens up nicely. So it's opened up to let the cue relax. Then there's a bit of a wait there, and then the delivery happens and we play the shot. And then we can also see, so just like I talked about with my action last time, when I play the shot, so if we just put a line here at the top, so where my elbow is, you can see that when I play my action, my arm goes through to neutral, and then just after the shot it just relaxes and drops down a little bit. Again, you don't have to copy that action. Some players drop the elbow, so Ronnie O'Sullivan drops the elbow, Sean Murphy drops the elbow, Mark Selby sometimes drops the elbow, Judd Trump doesn't drop the elbow, Neil Robertson doesn't drop the elbow. So this dropping of the elbow here As long as it's happening after the shot, like I talked about in last week's video, that's okay. You don't want it happening during the shot. So hopefully there are some really important things to look at from that back view there of the things you're trying to get right with your grip, controlling the cue, keeping the hand relaxed, and moving the hips out the way of the shot. Now, as I always say, everybody, I really hope you found this video useful. If you did, remember to give the video a like. If you're new to this channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. That just really helps me to keep all these videos coming regularly. As I always say, if anyone's interested in any personal one-to-one coaching sessions, have a look in the description box below. You'll see my details in there. Feel free to get in touch with me, and I'd love to help you to improve your game. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one, everybody. Cheers.